Leviathan here. Contrary to popular opinion, these are the 5 things you should not hate about the McLaren 650s. In a video published by Vehicle Virgins, Parker captures some of the things he hates about this McLaren. And while I'm a big fan of their YouTube channel, today I want to share my perspective and why I respectfully disagree. The exhaust. For us motorheads, there's no denying that the exhaust is the signature for every supercar. It's that one distinctive element that could either make or break the car. That being said, it's not as simple as just maximum decibels. It also comes down to the timbre, which has to suit both the personality and character of the car. It may be hard for Lamborghini drivers to understand because they're essentially just racers with a bit more disposable income. That being said, the way the McLaren exhaust is designed, engineered, and tuned is to be subdued at low RPMs. It isn't until you drive this car on the limit until you really unleash that fury. There is a way to enhance the soundtrack of the car. Let me demonstrate. Step 1, drop the backlight. Step 2, engage your active dynamic control with powertrain set to track. Step 3, press and hold your down paddle for the gearbox to automatically select the optimal gear. And finally, step 4, foot down. This car really screams at 6,000 RPMs. Whoa! I love that turbo. Way too much traffic in Mexico today. The ergonomics. So when I evaluate the ergonomics of a car, I break it down into 2 components: the physical ergonomics as well as the organizational ergonomics. When it comes down to the physical ergonomics of the McLaren, there's no denying that this car is brilliant. For example, the seats regress all the way back to allow for comfort entry and exit. The interior is so adaptable to meet any driving position, and the seats wide enough to fit my shoulders. I have trouble finding shirts that can fit me this well. However, when it comes down to the organizational ergonomics, for example, the ability to easily lift or lower the vehicle, this is where I agree. It's too lengthy of a process and it shouldn't take 4 clicks just to raise the car. In fact, like you said, it should really just be a button to click and raise. However, what you may not know is there's actually a shortcut to bypass all those steps. All what you have to do is lift the control stalk for 3 seconds and you're automatically into the lift settings of the car. The other issue is around having to press the active button. And I think this is actually a really great design element of the McLaren 650s. Let's be honest, 641 brake horsepower is no joke, and you really have to be both mentally and physically prepared before you unleash the fury. For those of you that do not know, when you start up the car, it defaults into normal mode. Everything is at its softest settings. Even your revs are limited to just 4,000 RPM, which makes this car so easy to drive when you first get in. And when you do lend it out to your friends, you don't have to worry about them crashing it. Sorry. Number 3, the iris system. So I hear your point, the graphical user interface can be enhanced, but to be honest, it never really bothered me because this car is so panoramic that I can see everywhere around me, and it's so easy to park that I don't rely heavily on the reverse cam. And I do reverse this car very, very slowly, so the refresh rate isn't a big deal. And I haven't experienced any issues with the screen flipping. Although I do usually teleport to Mexico, it could come in handy if I ever do teleport to a place like Australia. The rear end. Yes, it does look 12C-like, but then again, that being said, the 650s is supposed to be an evolution of the 12C, not a complete redesign. And given how unknown the McLaren brand is, I think it's important for them to establish that continuity within their model line. If McLaren just trickled down everything from the P1, you'd be left with a really cheap derivative of their ultimate hypercar, and that's not what we want. It's great to have that distinction across the lines, otherwise you'd have the Aston Martin model where all cars just look the same. The interior of the McLaren. Yes, it's very minimalist by design, and there's no unnecessary gauges or buttons to distract you with. It may be hard for Lamborghini drivers to understand with their racer-like mentality, but this car is just pure driving experience and pure driving sensation, and that's why I love it. So those are the 5 things you should not hate about the McLaren 650s. If you want to hear about the things I really do hate, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.